So in this short video, I'll be doing a review of the Elegy for the End 5-star bow, that's Venti's signature weapon, and comparing it to other comparable bows in the game. And then at the end, I will be talking about other bows in general as well, and how they stack up for the purposes of using them on Venti, okay? But I will also start the video by talking about who the Elegy for the End could be useful for other than Venti. So stay tuned for that in just one moment, but make sure that you guys are subscribed first, hit the like button, hit the thumbs up, and feel free to leave me comments and questions. Did you guys get the Elegy for the End previously? Did you guys get it on the current weapon banner? Did see my recent polling video? I was trying to get the Haran. I obviously failed, and I got the Elegy. For the purpose of this video, though, I did not level it up yet, and it's not a priority for me. I'm going to be very honest and blatant about that. It is a disappointment for me to get it, because I wanted the Haran, but I also said that in that polling video as well, that none of these other weapons I wanted. I only wanted the Haran. So it was a very minuscule chance that I was going to get it. So I was really just trying my luck. Hence, I'm not going any deeper on this either, because I don't want to risk getting more of these elegies or anything else. I don't really care for any of that other stuff. But I want to independently say the Elegy is an awesome weapon. So let's get to it. So that brings me right to, I'm going to quickly do this. I just did the Haran video where I talked about Haran versus a variety of comparable swords. So in this video, it's going to be the opposite. And I realized I never actually did one about the Elegy before. I realized that just now too. So I will be doing these videos moving forward as well. I've done other weapon comparison videos, of course, but I haven't actually done it for the weapons that have already existed in the game. So and so that's why I'm moving forward. I will make sure to continue to do these, so stay tuned. All right, so for the bow characters, we're talking about characters now. Who can the Elegy for the End be suitable for? So of course, it's Venti's signature weapon, so definitely, of course, Venti. The Elegy is an elemental mastery, sorry, it's an energy recharge, but it has elemental mastery passives, right? So it's really not meant to be for characters that are meant to be like DPSs or sub DPSs, to be very honest. It's more of a support style weapon. So it's not going to be for like Ganyu. Of course, you can give it to Ganyu, just so we're clear. You can still use that weapon on her, but I wouldn't recommend it unless you have major energy problems with her. Then maybe, because it does have an energy substat of 55.1% at level 90. Elegy is not necessarily going to be that good of a weapon for Child. I know this because I use Child and in the Abyss, and I need him to have lots of damage. And Elegy, although it can increase damage, it's definitely a support weapon. We're going to go right specifically, and for those of you who are not clear, I'm going to go into the Elegy's card as well, or the description card portion. So give me one moment here. But we're going to talk about the weapon, the character specifically first. So similarly, Yormia is like a single target damage dealer, so it's not recommended for her. She's more of like a machine gun, so she needs the normal attack, For Aloy, no one really uses her, and I recently just rebuilt her, and I did that updated review for her after I got the Mouun from the previous weapon banner. So do check that out if you're interested, but I did build her that way to give her that weapon. Mouun, again, just to summarize, is a good burst style weapon, so that's why I gave it to her, because Aloy's burst is where her majority of her damage comes from. And so the Elegy for the End is, again, not necessarily for that, although Aloy isn't really the most popular character. However, she is useful in that sense where you could put her in that damage dealer kind of role. Okay, so Elegy for the End, because it has an elemental mastery passive. I keep saying substat. Passive. It is not suitable for Goro in that sense that he is not going to benefit from it directly. He can probably use it in the sense that it can be to buff other characters, because that's his goal. He's a support character already, but he's Geo, and Geo doesn't do well with Elemental Mastery, so I would skip that. Diona, honestly, she can do better with the Sacrificial bow. So this brings me to Kujo Sara. So Kujo Sara, surprisingly, could do very well with the Elegy. I want to put that out. She could do really well with the Mouun as well, but she could do really well with the Elegy as well. It is, because it has a passive element that also has a mechanic that can give attack boosts. And of course, she herself can give an attack boost as well, too. So that in itself pairs well with her kit. And Elemental Mastery is okay, because she can be, I guess, a sub DPS or DPS role, but usually people use her as a support, right? So to buff up the other characters, such as Raiden Shogun, etc. So I can see the Elegy also working in that way to help her help buff the other characters after her. Similarly, then, Fischl will also benefit from the Elegy if you want to use her that way, because her Oz, her E and her burst, her Oz, can do lots of reactions with it and benefit from the elemental mastery. So that's good. And then no one really uses Amber, but technically, if you really wanted to build her an elemental mastery way, that's okay, but no one really uses her. Let's be real here. I mean, you could build, like I said, like on you like that too, but you wouldn't use her that way. Again, she's better with the Amos bow. Of course, Tartaglia has his own signature Polar Star, but he was better with the Thundering Pulse either, and of course, Thundering Pulse is Yoimiya's, right? So hence, like, there's no like, hence Elegy is really very niche, and so it's. I want to make this clear: the Elegy is not a must-have weapon for sure. Similar to my Haran video, where I just did it. Basically, I don't know if it was clear, but Haran is also not a must-have weapon either. So yeah, so there's that. So now let's get into the nitty-gritty, shall we? So let's just first talk about the Elegy. Again, I did not level it up, and I'm not going to have it leveled up in time to do this video, but I want to get this video out, and then we can talk about it in the future maybe. But like, it's a really long passive, but yeah, it's an energy recharge substat. Obviously, it's not leveled up, but yeah, it basically can give elemental mastery 60, okay? And it when the elemental skill or elemental burst of the character wielding this weapon hits the opponent, that character gains a sigil, and then that effect can be triggered every 0.2 seconds and can be triggered even if that character is not on the field, so he can be easily swapped out as long as his E or his burst are on the field. So really likely his burst, because his E doesn't last that long on the field. When you possess 4 of those sigils, so 4 stacks, then they will be consumed, and all nearby party members will gain the Millennial Movement Farewell Song effect, which just increases their elemental mastery by 100 and increases their attack by 20%, which is a nice buff for every character on the field afterward. So basically, while his burst is like in the air and swirling and hitting and proccing and ticking basically the enemies, as long as it hits 4 times, then all your party members in the team will gain a 20% bonus and 100 elemental mastery. So that's not bad, right? And yeah, basically this cannot be combined with same type, which means it cannot be combined with the Freedom Sword, I believe, and the and Eula's weapon, because those weapons are from the same class of weapon. So that's why it's just saying that only one of them can. Basically, they're saying that multiple of those weapons from the same series cannot stack with each other. That's what the last part was saying. Okay, that being said, so we went over the characters, we went over the Elegy's passive and the stats. So again, I want to make it clear, the Elegy is not a must-have weapon for Venti. It definitely will make him stronger, and I definitely do intend to level it up, because I did get it anyway, right? And give it to him eventually and replace the Stringless for him. So the Stringless will be our next topic here, but yeah, it's going to make him better, but I don't even use him that much right now, but I do use him occasionally in the Abyss still, and he's still useful for that purpose. So having this on him specifically will make him even better for that role, so it couldn't hurt, right? So let's just talk about the Stringless. I've had him on the Stringless since the beginning, ever since I got him in 1.4, because I didn't get him on 1.0 because I didn't start playing it until after. And just so we're clear, he did not have this Elegy weapon at 1.0. He only got it released at 1.4 with it, re-released. So so I just kept him on the Stringless, and this is not a bad weapon. I want to make that clear. He does really well with Elemental Mastery because he's an animal character. He does really well with a 4-piece Viridescent Venerer swirling set, right? So then this passive is also really awesome. Its elemental skill and burst damage is increased by 48% at R5. It's not bad. So this is technically his best in slot 4-star weapon, in my opinion. So I will just put that there. So I've been doing fine with this, and so I was never going to plan to change this. That's why I'm really disappointed in myself. Well, disappointed in the weapon banner, really, that I got this, because I didn't need this at all, because I already have him on this. Because now I have to spend the resources, technically, to level this up, and then, of course, replace it, and he'll be better with it, but it wasn't what I wanted. I really wanted to get my Haran, and then, not have these leftover weapons. But that's okay, because no other really, a character currently would really benefit so much from the Stringless right now, because who else is going to use it now, right? So now we're at that point where we have so many more weapons now than characters, and every character is specific for their kit, right? But that's okay. Like, it served me really well. Moving along, a cheaper version of the Stringless, and that was free from 1.4 event, also during his rerun, was the event weapon that was for free, which is the Windblume Ode. So some players might not have this, but this is a cheaper version of this. It's also, as you can see, the stats and substats are exactly identical at level 90. The only difference is the passive. And the passive here is after using an elemental skill, you receive a boon from the ancients, and you'll get an increased attack of 32%. Whereas this is specific for the burst and the skill, which is what his kit requires. So this is more universal in that sense. So they're not bad options. So that would be another good option for him. And then next, the other one I want to talk about is the Skyward Harp, which I don't own. I never got one. The Skyward Harp was what he was released with. It was the first 5-star, one of the standard 5-star weapons that you can get from the standard banner, and also if you lose the 50/50. And that weapon, but it is a crit-based weapon, crit rate substat, and I don't have it here, and because I don't have the card on the screen. But regardless, it is not a bad weapon for him if you want to build him with crit. However, later on, after they buffed up elemental mastery and reactions, that is technically how the game was rebalanced later on. Just so just a little history backtracking here, that's what they did. So then in that sense, they kind of made it so that animal characters are more focused on elemental mastery and it's better for them. So that's why the Skyward Harp is no longer as good for him, but it's still a very good universal weapon, just like any other Skyward weapon was for him and any other bow character as well. So I want to mention that there. Now, to conclude, I'm going to quickly go over the other remaining weapons and why they're not suitable for Venti specifically. So Thundering Pulse is a crit. Anything crit basically is not suitable. So let's just do it that way so it's faster. So not suitable for him. This is specifically for normal attacks. He's not really going to benefit from normal attacks and other things that are part of this passive. That's really long and we're going to go for it. This is basically normal attacks and other things that would benefit Yoimiya, hence it's her weapon. This one is another crit rate one. Again, specifically, it's elemental skill and burst. It could do well for him, for Venti in that sense, because it's elemental skill and burst, but realistically, it's not really for him because of the stats not really aligning with his kit. The aimless bow is for charge attacks and normal attacks. He doesn't need this because he doesn't use those things in his kit. Moving along, Mouun's Mouun would be okay for him, actually, just so we're clear, because it does give him elemental burst. Damage increase, right? And it's for if you want to make him into a burst DPS or sub DPS because he's very support based, and that's okay too, actually. So Mouun's Mouun is not bad for him if you have it leveled up. It's just a small attack percentage bonus, but it's not bad. It is a universal weapon, this one, for any burst bow users, okay? So there is that. But this was a limited series weapon, and not many people have it, and I was lucky that I at least got just one of it. So just stay tuned because they will recur on future banners, like any of the other limited weapons. Blackcliff is a good placeholder for many characters, but not for him, because again, it's crit damage, so we'll just move along. Rust as another normal attack damage one, again, not for him. Sacrificial is for energy recharge. If you have nothing better, then you can try this. At least then he can do his E skill twice, or potentially twice. This is not bad, but it's a placeholder, and there are better options for him. Favonius, again, it's a very universal weapon. These are very universal. This one, you'd have to build him to have crit rate, though, so that he can proc that passive to get more energy. And he already can get lots of energy on his own, so he doesn't need that. But then the passive is kind of wasted because you wouldn't want to build him with a crit rate for his artifacts anyway. I mean, you could do a hybrid build if you wanted to, but it's not necessary. This one, Hamayumi, again, it's a normal attack damage and charge attack damage bonus. Again, it's not applicable to him. And then last but not least, Compound Bow is a physical damage bow, not for him. And speaking of physical damage, there's also a Crescent one that I didn't create. It's a craftable. That one has the charge shots and hitting weak points. That one is a very specific niche thing that no one really uses, so I would skip that. Oh, there is this other one here, I just noticed. So I would skip the Predator because this is specific for Aloy's weapon, and you can only get one copy, and it's only usable on PlayStation Network. So let's just skip this. This is technically a garbage weapon, and for some reason the game does not allow us to fodder this away for some reason. Whereas the game does allow us to fodder away the Sword of Dissension, which is for PlayStation exclusive, which is a similar situation, but I got rid of that one a long time ago already. Alley Hunter. This is another limited series bow from the Mondstadt region. This one is specific for off-field bow characters. This was kind of intended for Fischl, in my opinion, or anyone else that can throw things out. I guess Amber in that sense, maybe, because she can throw out her little bunny, but it doesn't stay on the field that long, right? You know, this is meant for characters that can throw things as you read the passive, which I'm not going to go into detail, but it's meant for characters that are not on the field, right? So of course, he can technically have his swirling happening, but then there are better weapons. And again, this is a limited series weapon, so maybe people don't have this either. But yeah, there are better bows out there than this. This is not even that good a weapon, I'll be honest. I'm only keeping it because it's limited. I actually previously, way earlier, like many patches ago, I actually had an extra one, I think, and I foddered it because it was just garbage. I'll be honest, it's not that good. So anyway, that in a nutshell, I want to just make it clear, the Elegy for the end is an awesome weapon for Venti, of course. If you have Venti and also if you have it, then yeah, all the better to you. Of course, you should pair them together, and I will too. But do you need it for him? No, you do not. If you have the Stringless for him, or the Windblume Ode, you'll be fine. Or the Skyward Harp, you'll be fine. Or the Mouun's Mouun, you'll be fine. So I will just leave it at that. Tell me what you guys think. Are you guys going for the Elegy? Did you guys get the Elegy? Or are you like me? Did you go for the Haran and end up getting the Elegy? In that case, are you giving it to your Venti if you're going for Venti, or did you get Venti? And that's why I want to talk about, like earlier in the beginning, why there could be other characters that could be useful for the Elegy. And yeah, you could give it to Kujo-Sara, I think, would be the next best bet. I guess if you had to give it to somebody else, you could. Like, pretend that you don't have these other 5-star bows for these 5-star characters, like Yoimiya or a child. I can see you giving it to them, but they won't really benefit as much and enjoy it as much, I'll be honest. It's not going to be their best, but it could be a nice stat stick perhaps, yeah. But it's energy recharge, so really, I'll be honest, I think it's better for Kujo-Sara, and maybe Fischl, yeah. So those are my things. Anyway, I'll leave that there. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Please do check out my other video right before this, which is about the Haran comparison, and I also did a Sucrose and a Nayato review today as well. So do check those out and do support my channel. Thank you so much, and we'll see you guys in another video. Thanks.